All right, we are live. What is going on, everyone? I hope you're doing good today. A few things to go over, but a little cleaning of the house before we get going. Yesterday, I had to cut out like 10 seconds of the video because there are two different Josh Williams. I'd never thought about it. I don't know why. I just assumed it was the same Josh Williams, but there are two different Josh Williams. And in the video, for the first maybe 45 minutes, it was saying the same Josh Williams that drove. So I had that wrong, but want to give a shout out to Josh Yenchik. He corrected me because this is not the first time I've actually said this. It was the first time that somebody was actually pointed out to me. There are two different Josh Williams. There's the Josh Williams that spot. There's the Josh Williams that drive. I thought it was the same dude because I don't know. I don't know why I assumed that, but I did. But I was glad that you guys pointed it out. So shout out to Josh there for getting me straight. But either way, I took that 10 seconds or so out of the video. So we're good to go after the first 45 minutes. But if you were one of the, I think 1,000 maybe, that saw it in the first 45 minutes, I just wanted to correct that for you guys. But after that, the video was good to go. But yeah, so what happened today, the big news today, of course, if you already knew that, feel free to have a laugh at me because when I found out, I started laughing at myself. So it is pretty funny. I don't know why I assumed that. But if you didn't know, now you know. You learned like I did today, and that's all because of Mr. Josh Yenchik there. So shout out to him. Want to give him full credit for that. But anyway, moving right along. The big news that came out today was that Legacy Motor Club got who was the sponsor that they got today? Advent Health. So they got Advent Health. And depending on who you ask, because I was just reading through the threads, I didn't see any official reasoning, but the two theories seem to be they got it because Ross Chastain is now with Busch. They didn't want to be associated with Busch because it's obviously Advent Health, so they didn't want to be associated with Busch. The other theory is Busch took up so many of the sponsor dates that Advent Health didn't have as many sponsor dates as they wanted with Trackhouse. So depending on who you ask, you know, that seems to be the two main theories on the internet. But either way, Legacy Motor Club now has a sponsor for the 43 car going forward. So that's actually going to help them as well. Also, because they're moving on to Toyota, so they've got a lot going on. And that is what spurred the poll question over here. The poll question is, new sponsor, new manufacturer, how will Legacy Motor Club perform next season? 4+ wins is at 0%. 2 to 3 wins is at 24%. 1 win is at 29%. And they will struggle again is at 47%. And it is that time of season. Still getting over the cold a little bit, but there you go. It is Fisherman's Friends season. So sorry, you're going to have to listen to me talk while it sounds like I'm eating something, but I'm not. It's just a throat loss. And so trying to keep the voice active for as long as we can tonight. All right, let's see what you all want to talk about. We will jump into the comments. I'll tell you, you got me thinking if Eric is in the Gibbs Xfinity car next season, he's going to be hard to handle. Yeah, so it's not going to be full time, according to everything Eric Amarola said last year. So I would assume it's not going to be full time. Bob Hocker said it'll be announced probably next week sometime or this week. But I think it's going to be part-time, but I think those part-time races he jumps in, I mean, he won a race this year, right, in the Xfinity Series. So I'm pretty sure he's going to get at least one win. OJ and Toothpaste, what's up, my friend? But, yeah, he's definitely going to be tough in the starts he gets. Eric was seldom time winner in Cup. I doubt he is that hard to beat in Xfinity. He was pretty good in Xfinity, though, back in the day. Obviously, Gibbs equipment is as good as it gets. But I think he'll get at least one win in the starts that he gets with Gibbs next season. Mark Barnum, what's up? What's up, Shy? I was wondering about the Josh Williams thing, says Shy. Yeah, like I said, I had to laugh at myself. I don't know why. I just assumed it was the same dude. But yeah, whatever. That's 100% on me. I don't know. Maybe during driver intros they need to start showing the team again, like they did in the Sprint Cup era. Maybe that would have eliminated the confusion. But I don't know. I guess since like. In late models and stuff, you always see like somebody from Limited or something go up there and spot for the late models, and vice versa. The late model guys, they'll go up there and spot. So I don't know why. I don't know. I'm trying to think of why I thought they were the same dude. But yeah, I thought it was the same dude. But yeah, and that's not the first time I said that, like I said. So anyway, moving right along. Dude Chronic, what's up, my friend? Hi, what up, BB? How's your life been? Says Chronic. Well, I can't complain about life at all, my friend. I've been higher and I've been lower, but I like to keep it right here in the middle. So I'm right here in the middle right now. So we're going to keep rolling with it. Earth 2 qualifying round 3 had a bit of an unexpected twist, 2 a.m. start time, and they had to qualify with studded snow tires because of the 7 inches of snow. In a blizzard, J.J. Yaley won the session at 226 miles per hour. That's average speed. He was actually going much faster, but yes. Earth 2, if you're following along with the Discord, we've got one Ty Dillon win. We've got one now J.J. Yaley win, and we've got one B.J. McLeod win in the 7 rounds of qualifying, or however many rounds of qualifying I said on the Discord. But yeah, if you want to check out the Discord, somebody can drop the link down here if they would like to. Check us out on Discord. It's free. And it's fun. But yeah, and of course, the next round of Daytona 700 qualifying will be a keg race between the drivers, just a foot race. I would favor Carl Edwards in that if he was still driving, but he's not. Let's see here for the Daytona 700, says OJ and 2 days. That's Earth 2. Just having a little fun there, by the way. Hi, y'all from North Idaho. What's up, Cassandra? Hope you're doing good. What's up, North Idaho? Good evening, BB. You excited for the Iowa Cup schedule? I am excited for the Iowa race, Ralph. Unfortunately, it's already sold out. It's one that I sort of had earmarked. I was going to try to figure out a way to travel one time to a faraway race this year. That was kind of one of the ones that was on my list. Cool that it sold out, but sucks for me. But it's really going to be, I think, a really good race for everybody involved. Bush will want to be the only main sponsor, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, that could be a third aspect to it too. I hadn't even thought about that. But just as far as people going back and forth in the comment section, which take that as you will, of course. Yeah, that could be a third reason why Advant is going to Legacy Motor Club. But either way, big pickup for Legacy Motor Club. They struggled with sponsorship last year, struggled all the way around last year without factory support too. So I do expect them to have a better season. I expect probably I would put 2 to 3 wins. I would put it into the 2 to 3 win range, because even with the lesson support, and they didn't have full funding for the season, Eric Jones he came close several times. So I think this year, as long as the new Toyota is competitive, which it looks pretty sport. I know people don't like the way it looks, but it does look pretty sporty from a racing side of things. I think Eric Jones is he's going to be in the mix next season for at least 1 or 2 wins. I'll say. I'll hedge it at 2. I'll say 2, about 2 wins. I think he can pull off 2 wins. Eric might have the plate races, says Duke Chronic. That's true. Eric Amarola was always a really good plate racer, and especially with Gibbs equipment, having Gibbs teammates. I can see you. I can see that 100% there, Duke. BB, will Noah go to the 10? What's taking so long, and why about Ty Dillon? So that's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up, OJ. They actually showed a picture today of Noah Gragson in the SHR garage. It is all but confirmed, unless something crazy changes. But I want to say it's basically all but confirmed at this point. I mean, they're taking pictures of him in the SHR garage, hanging out, probably getting a seat fitting or something like that, or doing promo pictures or something like that. So I have to imagine the announcement's coming pretty soon. It's up there with one of the worst kept secrets of all time. But because God, we've been talking about this since before the season ended, have we not? If I'm not mistaken, but yeah, he's I mean, I can't say for sure, because like I said, things change all the time, but I would say it's a pretty strong bet that Noah Gragson will be in that 10 car next year. Ty Dillon, I have no clue. My thought before Dale Jr. said that Ty Dillon was going to the other college car, the 16, my thoughts all along with the 16 car was they would run it like they did the year previous. So this year, where they had multiple drivers in it, and I could see Ty Dillon being in the car like that. And that's why I always thought Ty Dillon's name was associated with the 16 car. So I think another group of just multiple drivers in that 16 car, and it's just a guess. I don't have I don't know anything. It's just a guess. But that would seem to make the most sense if you want to find a sponsor. You would just bring in several guys that have sponsor money and run 3 or 4 or 5 races with each of those guys. So I think that probably would be their best bet if the sponsor side of it is really what's driving who's going in that 16 car. So just put AJ in it for the races that nobody has a sponsor, and put whoever can bring sponsor money in that car for whenever somebody has sponsor money. I think that would probably be their best bet. Did you see the pic of Noah at SHR shop? All but confirms the obvious, says Cody. Yeah. So I just talked about that, but yeah, for sure I did see that pic, and yeah, you're basically right. It all but confirms. So I mean, we're just waiting for the official announcement, in my opinion, at this point. Maverick, tell NASCAR to change the championship format. I would tell them in a heartbeat, but I doubt they'll listen to me. I'm not even saying we need to get rid of the playoffs, but we need to get rid of this form of the playoffs. Like they could do something to make it more reasonable, in my opinion. Rumor Kaz Grala has a cup ride, says John Lewis. There you go, Kaz Grala. He's out at Sam Hunt. The only reason I would see him leaving now, Sam Hunt might got rid of him for a sponsorship driver or something like that. But the only reason I can see Kaz Grala leaving Sam Hunt is if he has a ride. So we'll have to see what that ride is. He has driven for Colleague in the past, so maybe it's Colleague. Maybe he's the other driver over there at Rick Ware. It's going to be interesting to see where he lands over there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. I hadn't heard that particular rumor, but I did throw it out there. That he might have his name in the ring for something else if he's leaving Sam Hunt. I have to call NASCAR sexist because I saw a post on their Facebook and they highlighted all the award winners and addressed the MPD drivers and crickets about Haley winning. Like her or not, she is a winner. Hey, so there you go. I like I said, I don't pay attention to. I didn't watch any of the the award ceremony. That's just not something I've ever gotten into. Even at my level, even when I've been on teams that have won championships at the late model level, I never go to the award ceremony banquet. I don't like getting dressed up like that, and that's just not my cup of tea. So I didn't watch any of that stuff. So I couldn't comment on it because I didn't see it. But if that is the case, that is a bummer. She's one of the people that drives new fans into the sport. So that's a bummer if they did her like that. Just the grandstand is sold out, but you can get a ticket, says Mark Barnum. I'll look into it as things get more financially stable. I spent a lot of money at the end of the year. Let's see. For NASCAR to have 2 races sold out before 2024 even starts is spectacular. Oh yeah, for sure. The fact that they're selling out stuff much sooner than they have been, I agree. Worst playoff system, college football or NASCAR? Brian W. That is a great question. You know what? I feel like that's a really solid poll question. So I'm going to end the poll question now. 4+ wins is at 3%, 21% for 2 to 3 wins, 35% for 1 win, and 40% they will struggle again. So we're going to end this poll. And in a rare moment of quality, I have ended a poll and actually talked about ending the poll on this channel. So here we go. We're going to go, and I'm going to have to find where I left off up there. Let's say worst championship system. There we go. I'm just going to make it a 2. I'm just going to make it a 2-dog race in this one. Worst championship system, college football or NASCAR Cup Series. So there you go. The poll question is up. College football 100% right now. It might be skewed right now because of Florida State being left out, but that's such a tough deal for Florida State. They did everything they could do, and look, there's always going to be somebody that has a good argument with a 4-team thing. So, but I don't know. It's a hard argument to make. It shows a extreme, in my opinion, it shows an extreme SEC bias. Whether that bias is justified or not, you can argue that all day. But it does show a bit of an SEC bias because I don't know. They had the better strength of schedule, in my opinion. And ACC versus SEC head to head, the ACC had more wins over the SEC. So they did it off a feel that Alabama right now they feel like is a better team than Florida State would be without their quarterback, and that's their decision to make. But it's a tough pill to swallow, and I do feel bad if you're an FSU fan. I understand, like I'm trying to say, I guess I understand both sides of the argument. But if you're an Florida State fan, you've got to be absolutely not happy right now. For NASCAR to have 2 races sold out before 20, I just read that one. Let's see here. Both Brian says Mark Barnum. I saw some pics of Blaney's Dark Horse Mustang today. The cars are bad, but yeah, those cars are super sick. I agree with you, Mark Barnum. That new if we're just going off looks, the new Ford Mustang looks 100 times better than the new Toyota Camry. That being said, I want to see what they do on the racetrack because let's be honest, there's a reason Toyota shaped their car the way they shaped it, and there's a reason Ford shaped their car the way they shaped it. So we'll see. And just the point I'm trying to make is in 2018 or whenever 2016, I can't remember exactly what year, But whenever Chevrolet came in there, 2018, whenever Chevrolet came in there with the Camaro, that thing looked absolutely gorgeous, but it was slow. Austin Dillon and I think Chase Elliott were the only two to win in it that year. I think that's the Austin Dillon win, actually, right there. So there you go. From that particular season. Blaney says, Mark Barnum, BB, Florida State should not be in the college playoff. Alabama is a way better team and would stomp them, says OJ and Toothpaste. And it's all subjective. Look, I'm not saying they will or won't, but all I am saying is it would be nice if we had a little bit of a better system over there. And look, the people that are saying that's why we need, what is it, like 12 teams or whatever, they're making the 12 or 8 team argument. It doesn't matter. Because you go to 8 teams, the 9th team is going to complain they didn't get in. The 12th team, the 13th team is going to complain they didn't get in. So you can make it as many teams as you want to. Because look at college basketball. You go to 64 teams, the 65th team is like, how come we didn't get in? So it's always going to be that argument. It's just going to be depending on, what are you arguing for, 65th or 4th team in? So it's always going to be that type of controversy. So it's never going to be a perfect system as far as that goes. Let's see. IBB, Mark, Duke Chronic, OJ and Toothpaste, and Chrome Diesel, says Cassandra. Howdy from the Great White North. What's up, Robin Marks? What's up, Canada? I don't want to be old anymore. Time is going too fast. I thought it was Monday all day, says Robin Marks. I hear you, brother. I hear you. Let's see. Hi, Robin, says Cassandra. Bumblebee saying what's up to everybody. Let's see here. Chrome Diesel saying what's up to Cassandra. Hey, BB, says Mark Barnum. And hi, Bumblebee, says Chrome Diesel. Let's see. I'm just going to skip down all the hellos and get to the next question. Here we go. BB, how about them 49ers after the Eagles game? So, yeah, I hope there's no Eagles fans on here. But like I said last year, probably not on this channel, but I was like, if our quarterback was healthy, that's probably a whole different football game in the playoffs last year. And Deebo Samuel said that. And Deebo Samuel was proven right because with our quarterback, the 49ers were a whole different team against the Eagles. So it is what it is. That being said, even if the 49ers got to the Super Bowl last year, I'm not sure anybody was beating the Kansas City Chiefs last year. So it's probably a moot point either way. NASCAR fan 93-100. What's up, guys? Bumblebee. What's up, OJ? Late to the party. Hello, all. BB, what comes to market first, the new NASCAR game or GTA 6? That is a good question. Grand Theft Auto number 6 is coming out in 2025. Will NASCAR get their game out before then? It's going to be a push. I'll probably say GTA 6 comes out first, and GTA 6 will probably be a better game, just going off what we've seen in the past. Bloneberger, what's your opinion of the first trailer of GTA 6? I was never a big Grand Theft Auto. I played Destiny and played a lot of Forza. I played Dishonored. I'm trying to think of the games I spent the most time on. I played a little bit of everything, but those are probably the ones I spent the most time on. I never got into Grand Theft Auto because I felt like it was just The Sims for criminals. So it never piqued my interest as far as that goes. I like games with like better story, just that's all storyline, and I don't know that one for whatever reason. And if you like it, look, it's one of the greatest games of all time. Don't worry about me not liking it if you like it, but if you like it. But it was never one of those games that piqued my interest. Iowa needs more temporary stands, says Chrome Diesel. That being said, I mean, I played plenty of games. I literally Dishonored is about an assassin. So take the Sims for criminals with a grain of salt there. GTA 6 needs to sponsor Brad Keselowski in 2025. That would be pretty cool. Really, who needs to sponsor somebody at RFK period needs they need Forza Motorsports, because they've got the Forza Motorsports thing. It's sort of the side back rocker panel of all their cars. It looks like the Forza Motorsport F and M. So Forza Motorsports, if that's not already a sponsorship there, they need to probably jump on that, because it's already ghosted into the Roush Fenway cars. Iowa needs more temporary stands, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, I could see as the cup dates keep continuing, I could see Iowa maybe adding some more, not even temporary stands, but maybe add some permanent ones. Winston Museum's Will Spencer has seen and done amazing things. Sad what he's going through, says Brickyard Brickhead. It is. And if you haven't seen it, I think, was it Stapleton? I think it was Stapleton that had the video up. So That's pretty cool. I'm going to go up there Thursday and try to see if I can get some footage. Hopefully they'll let me. I'm fairly sure they will. So I'm going to try to get some footage for the channel so you guys can see everything that they got going on up there since it is closing. OJ and Toothpaste says, BB, do you look up Scotty Kilmer videos when you're working on your race cars for advice on what to do? Not necessarily when I'm working on my race cars, but whenever I need a good chuckle, I look up Scotty Kilmer videos. He's always going to be like, buy a Toyota, and then you just name the Toyota model that he wants you to buy. Let's see. And then he's going to say the new Toyotas are crap. Buy one of the older Toyotas. Let's see. Hey, say Kyle. Not Kyle, says Cassandra. Chrome Diesel, I agree. Only 24K grandstand in Iowa. Yeah. So I think they'll probably expand it like officially. What's up, say Kyle, says B. Hello, Cassandra, says say Kyle. FSU was robbed, says B. Yeah, like either side of it. You're either going to be like Alabama deserves to be in or Florida State was robbed. I mean, pick a side. Both sides have good arguments, though. So I mean, it is what it is. But if you're going by numbers and records, FSU was robbed. If you're more of a person that goes by the eyeball test and you have the SEC bias, then you're going to be like the SEC. Alabama deserves to be in because probably in a lot of people's mind, they think the SEC champion should be in there every single year. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. Let's see. Say Kyle saying what's up to EB. I should have put both. BB says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about that before I put the poll up. Right now, 62% says college football is the worst one. So there you go. Should put. Let's see. Interesting also that KFB might drive a supercar. Yeah, so that's a story I touched on yesterday too. That's going to be super cool that he's driving over there. It's not Bathurst. I really wanted him to do Bathurst, but that doesn't line up really well with the Cup schedule. But the fact that he's driving one period, I think it's just going to be a really cool deal. Both playoffs really suck, unfortunately, says Bruce Reed. Yeah, I agree. Neither one the fans are winning. I agree with that. BB, I'm bummed out. Our Oregon Ducks lost to Washington, says OJ and Toothpaste. Me too, man. That's several games this year they lost that I thought they should have won. And I don't know. They've got the talent. They lacked a little bit of the focus this year. But they had a good season. Washington's a good team. So, I mean, the more deserving team probably won there anyway. But it is a bummer, man. I hated to see them lose. I think they will change the championship. Hopefully they make 3 races at 3 different style racetracks, says Duke Chronic. At least 3 races. I would like to see way more than that, but it is what it is. If you're going to have a playoff, don't make it one final race to decide a champion. That's my biggest gripe with it right now. FSU got screwed, says Camaro 50. So there you go. Alabama is a better team, period, says Ben Kluber. So there you go. That's just a circle you can argue about round and round forever. I just realized that NASCAR and CFP are the same. Regular season does not matter. Win one championship or playoff race, and you're in the championship 4, says Cody. There you go. Win a championship game, and you got a chance to get in. That's the precedent that's been set, regardless of record. 50-50, says Ken Hatchett. I think FSU should be in the hunt, but as a Gator fan, I died laughing when I saw that they got snubbed, says say Kyle. So yeah, there you go. And there's also the fan side of it too, right? If FSU, this mint is numbing my tongue, so it's not fun right now, or not mint, but throat lozenge. Let's see. Yeah, there's the fan side of it too. If you pull against Florida State, you got a pretty good chuckle because they didn't get in. Florida State has a backup quarterback, and they play in a bad non-competitive conference. They did not get robbed. LOL, says OJ and Toothpaste. I don't get the non-competitive conference because they have the ACC has a winning record over the SEC, and the ACC has produced champions with Clemson from their conference. So I don't know about. People get too caught up on this non-competitive conference stuff. Like, me personally, I don't buy into that. Now, you can make an argument the SEC has been better over the course of a period of time, but if you look at the last 10 years, the ACC has been pretty competitive against other football conferences. Let's see. CFB isn't a playoff; it's a beauty pageant. I agree with you there, Brian. It's so subjective. That's my point. It's so subjective. You can make an argument for either team to be in there, and that's the problem. It's too subjective. They need some more clearly defined rules. Olympic ice skating and medals are the worst, says John Lewis. Yes, that's the most subjective, no doubt about that. NASCAR needs to be in Grand Theft Auto 6. Somebody posted a thread about how much NASCAR stuff will be in Grand Theft Auto 6. So somebody's already on top of that. At least college football changed their championship format starting next year. NASCAR won't, says Camaro 50. Yeah, so they're at least willing to change. At least they didn't force Notre Dame into it again. LOL, says Brian W. So that's the classic one for people that remember. Notre Dame was always preseason top 5, regardless of how bad they did the season before. I need to change the Big 10 to the Big 18. That's true too. A lot of conferences are going to have to change their name. Let's see. NASCAR, they are kind of GTA 5. The hot ring cars are basically NASCAR cars. Mine has a Gordon-inspired livery. There's a Dale Sr., Terry Labonte, and a bunch of other liveries for it. Says say Kyle. So, yeah, that's what I was saying. There's already a bunch of people sort of plotting that one out. OJ and Toothpaste saying, what's up to Cassandra? Good evening, everybody, says one wise guy. Chris Buescher and Chase Elliott have pretty solid blue paint schemes for 2024. Yeah, Chase Elliott's paint scheme is good, but that Chris Buescher scheme, I think that's chef's kiss. I think his actually looks a little bit better than Napa. I love the conference restructuring. Nothing says Atlantic Coast Conference like Stanford University. You tell him, Brian. That's a big joke around here because obviously this is ACC country where I live. Thoughts on the new 43 paint, says Delmar Kaufman. They need to do something a little bit different on the nose of it, but the sides of it look pretty good. The colors, the Advent Health always does a good job with their paint scheme. And that's just a test car, I think. So we'll see what the actual scheme, if they change it up any, when it starts racing on the track. But that nose needs a little bit of color, like that. The flat part right there where it says Camry, it needs a little splash of color in there somewhere because it's just too much. It's too much of a long flat piece, and then of course people just don't like the way the Camry looked too. So that's part of it too. I do like the blue 43 with the gold trim though. That looks pretty slick. KC not even coming close to the Super Bowl this year. Says yeah, they've had a Super Bowl letdown. They lost basically all of their good wide receivers, in my opinion. BB, because I've seen Patrick Mahomes because I've got him on my fantasy team. I've watched several Chiefs games this year, and he's hitting the receivers in the hands. They're just not catching them. BB, what's the worst, most boring video game that you've ever played? Somebody tried to get me into Minecraft, and that wasn't for me. Let's see here. Is Eric still mad about Denny filling in for his first win? If he is still mad about it, I'm sure he's put it aside by now. Say Kyle, single player wise, there were some pretty. So I played Atari. Like I'm old enough to have played Atari a little bit. There were some pretty bad Atari games back in the day, but I can't call their name off the top of my head. So it just depends on how far back you want to go. Let's see. Are you missing out when it comes? You were missing out when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, says NASCAR fan 93-100. And to be fair with you, I'm just gonna have to continue to miss out on it because my video game days are over. I just do not have time. Like, do not have time for that. As soon as I started working on race cars, Destiny 2 fell to the wayside. That's the last video game I played. So just video game days for me are over. Race car life, it's very time consuming. I'll just put it to you that way. But I love it. So I mean, it's part of the payoff. I'm not a huge Grand Theft Auto fan either. Says B. 2024, and look, it's one of those games that either grabs you or don't, and that's all video games. Video games either grab you or they don't. And it's sort of like comedians. Some people really like a comedian, and then they'll tell a friend about it, and that friend will watch it, and they'll be like, "Yeah." That's kind of what video games remind me of. Some people will absolutely love a video game, and some people will play one and be like, it's all right. Let's see here. Delmar Kaufman, 2024 equals 75 years with the Petties in NASCAR. Yeah, and they've got a really slick logo for that 75 years. Skipping ads here, so you shouldn't see an ad because I just skipped it there. Let's see here. Throw the video games in the trash and get off the couch, says Mark Barnum. I play more war-based stuff. I love Medal of Honor. That was a pretty good one. To the point, I collected Medal of Honor related memorabilia, says Bumblebee. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. A lot of my friends got into that one too. Tanks was another one. World of Tanks or something. That's another one a lot of people got sucked into. On Earth 2, everyone says hey to everyone, says Aaron Flynn, for sure. And everyone's nice. It's like a non-creepy version of Pleasantville, which would be probably Mayberry. What, Andy Griffith? Let's see. Milton says I watched my dad play GTA when I was a kid, but I've never really shown interest in GTA. yeah, it's just one of those things that it's one of those video games that it either consumes your life or it doesn't. How about Timmy Fedewa spotting for Blaney now? That's pretty cool. He's pedigreed for sure, Bruce, with Kevin Harvick. I kind of wish he stayed with SHR to help out Josh Berry. Yeah, I'm sure Josh has got a guy that he's going to work with, though. I'm sure they'll be okay on that side of it. Fun fact, GTA 5 is the best-selling entertainment product of any type in the history of entertainment, says Seikau. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't worry about what I say about it, because there are plenty of people that like it. So if you're interested in it, I would say give it a try. It just wasn't for me. So that is that. Bruce Reed re-upping. Geez, months already. Time flies. He has re-upped his membership. So appreciate you there, Bruce. In your last video, you were commenting about the new NASCAR engine not being released still. Can you speak about that a little bit more? What are your thoughts? I think they're trying to figure out something with IMSA. Here's my logic on this. IMSA and NASCAR are basically already one. They're probably going to fully integrate to make sure that both series continue to move forward. So if that happens, it would make sense for them to run a series in IMSA that uses the same engine package that they use in NASCAR. And that's what I think Garage 56 was all about when they took that car over to Le Mans. So if you put all those pieces together, it sort of becomes clear, especially when you look at this new car, which is basically based off of a sports car. If you put all that together, I don't think you'll ever see like NASCAR running in IMSA, but I think you will see a class that is very similar to NASCAR, where you could take that engine package, let's say if you're like Nissan, Honda, Dodge, whoever, right? Take that engine package, and that engine package would also be legal for NASCAR. So now you've got one engine package for two series. That would reduce your cost as a manufacturer, because you could spend, let's say you have $1 million. Let's just make this simple, because obviously it's going to take more than $1 million to develop an engine. Let's say you got $1 million budget for IMSA, you've got $1 million budget for NASCAR. Well, guess what? If you only have to spend $1 million to produce one engine package, then you can save all that money over there in one series or the other. So, right, that's an extra $1 million that manufacturer would have to play with. So, I think eventually that's where it gets to, and I think that's the holdup on the engine package. To further expound upon that, I think they thought Dodge was getting into it, and they were going to wait for Dodge to get into it and talk to Dodge about what they wanted the engine package to be. That's why I think they're being so rigid and stiff about the engine package, not adding or not adding horsepower to fix the short track package. So I think all that stuff is sort of tied up into one thing. But that's just me thinking out loud. I could be completely way off with that. So that's just my thoughts on it. BB, Scotty Kilmer has the best car in the world, according to him, a 1994 Toyota Silver Celica. Yeah, and the reason that's the best car in the world is because General Motors and Toyota spent a ton of money to make that thing as reliable as possible, and they nailed it. And for some reason, unbeknownst to God and humans, General Motors no longer makes that car. They no longer use that engine. It boggles the mind, because the Corolla is one of the best-selling cars of all time, and General Motors stopped making their version of it. Like, what are you doing? Like, General Motors continues to do things that boggle the mind. It's like they hate money. They don't want to make any of it. Eric Sipes, the new 43 Advent livery looks really sleek. Just wish they could have incorporated a little more Petty Blue into the color palette, since the Petties are celebrating 75 years in NASCAR for 2024. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I do like the fact that they made it a Petty Blue 43 with the gold trim, though. So I do think that they at least got that in there. So, yeah, but it's I do like the way the paint scheme looks, and I do like that they at least have a Petty Blue 43. So at least they got that far with it. FSU only has themselves to blame. They could have joined the SDC back in the 90s, but they didn't want to. If they had to, they would have either been in easy or had losses to power SEC teams already. Says Stay Kyle. So yeah, that was a long time ago. And to be fair, that's back when them and Miami were all really good. Like them, Miami, and Florida were all really good. So they didn't have to really worry about stuff like that, because they just continued to be good every season. So from their perspective, they were going to title games either way. So they probably never thought they would fall off the way they've fallen off. Hello, Kyle. Hit the thumbs up. Everybody hit it, says Danielle Dunn. I appreciate it. So, yeah, if you want to hit the thumbs up button, it would be much appreciated. If not, don't feel pressured into doing it. Mark Barnum, I saw the story on the national news tonight that streaming network is starting to raise their prices and adding more commercials. Hello, cable format. Hate to say it, but saw it coming. Yeah, I mean, everybody saw it coming. But at the end of the day, the reason that they got their foot in the door is because cable has continued to raise their prices, and they haven't given you any value in return. They're just like, oh, all this stuff's already in place, but we're just going to randomly raise our prices. That's the reason that streaming started to get their foot in the door. One wise guy says Molten Rage. Yeah, shout out to Molten, of course. BB, have you ever had to block or kick anyone from the chat? That's what I got mods for. So Molten got put on timeout for a little while, so that's what the Molten Rage thing was about. So Molten got put in timeout for like a week, and then I had to figure out how to redo him. But he is reinstated now, and hopefully I don't have to ever go through that process again, because it was a mother of God pain in the butt to figure out how to reinstate somebody. So he's the only one. Let's see. And it was only supposed to be like a 1 day or 1 week deal. So really one stream, because I was only doing one a week at that time. So it ended up being bad because we couldn't figure out how to reinstate him. So yeah, only one person. Let's see. A lot of drivers crisscrossing series says like this, like, yeah, that would be the other thing too. As far as if IMSA and NASCAR fully merged, that particular division, Iowa had a offense. They could have beat Michigan, says Mark Barnum. That's fair too. Yeah, so Michigan's another interesting team in that mix. Should they, some people are arguing they shouldn't even have a bid because they were stealing signs allegedly. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that plays out as well. Should they win the whole thing? As a Canuck, I have no idea what y'all are talking about. Barely follow football, or barely follow the NFL. Says Shaw. That's because you got the CFL down there. You got the old Canadian Football League, where your balls are bigger. Let's see. Say Kyle, not Cal. I would agree. The SEC isn't what it was 5 to 10 years ago, but the top 3 to 4 SEC teams year over year are generally ahead and shoulders above everyone else. I remember when we molly-whooped Big Bad Ohio State. And see, that's sort of what I'm getting about. That's sort of what I'm trying to get at about the conference. Everybody's like, the SEC is the strongest conference. I was like, no, you've got 4 teams in the SEC that are good. All the rest of the teams in the SEC are pretty much ass. So, I mean, it's the same thing in the ACC. You've got 2 or 3 teams in the ACC that are really good. Everybody else is trash. So, I mean, and you can do that with every conference. So I've never understood this. Oh, well, if you win the SEC or if you win, whatever, if you win whatever conference, you should automatically be in the final. No. There's only like 2 or 3 good teams in most conferences, and you got to look at your record. That's why I like strength of schedule and looking at it that way, because I just want to see who you beat and who you lost to. Like, to me, that's the only thing that should really matter. And at the end of the day, it is a really difficult thing to do, because you got all these teams that you got to judge, and you can only pick 4 of them. So, like I said, either write down and make a black and white rule. This is who gets in, or stop, or add more teams. That's your 2 options, because you can't keep doing this beauty contest as, oh, this team looks better, so we're just going to put them in, even though this team's undefeated. It's always going to be a huge controversy. Or just saying, maybe they like the controversy, so that's why they do things like this every single season. I just thought I'd throw that out there too, because look, we're talking about it on the NASCAR channel, so. Hey, look, they kind of know what they're doing, don't they? JD MH, what's up? Thumbs up to you too, my friend. Since it's not Ty Dillon to the 16, then who? Like I said, I think it's going to be a merry-go-round of drivers, sort of like they did a year or 2 ago when they had several different drivers in there. Since they're looking for sponsorship, you put AJ Allmendinger in there when you don't have any sponsorship, and then when you got a driver that does have sponsorship, go ahead and put him in there. But it could be Kaz Grala or somebody else. There's got to be a reason Kaz Grala left Sam Hunt Racing, so we'll have to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that 16. How one wise guy says, Cassandra, BB, do you think Stanford and Cal should be allowed in the ACC conference, says OJ and Toothpaste? I think you can allow anybody you want to in the conference, but I do think they need to change the name of the conference if you're going to have people from the West Coast in that conference, right? So I don't know. The Atlantic Coast to Coast Conference, maybe, so you can keep ACC, Atlantic Coast to Coast Conference, because you've got teams in there from coast to coast. So that would be that's. And I didn't just come up with that. We've been joking about this all season between me and my friends. So it is what it is. So your thoughts on Spire Motorsports performance They are taking on a lot. I think they're going to be a lot. John Lewis, good question. Great question. I think they're taking on a huge undertaking. I think they're putting all the right people in place. I think they're going to be way better than they were last year. I don't necessarily think that they're going to be a championship level team, but I think I could see them being sort of like where Legacy Motor Club is, where Front Row Motor Club, Front Row Motorsports is. I could see them sort of being that level or maybe a little bit better. I don't think they'll be as good as Trackhouse, even though they're aligned with them. So I think it's just going to be super interesting what actually happens. But I think I'll put them sort of right there with Legacy and Front Row. I think that's going to be sort of where they fall out. Noah and Carson back to, but they've got one more extra team, so I think they might look better because they're going to have more finishes that are higher just because they've got that one extra team. So, or it could go the total opposite way, where one of their teams just runs absolutely terrible and the other two teams run good. It's just going to be really interesting. But I do think they'll be better than they were last year for sure. Noah and Carson, and I don't think that's like an aggressive out of the box take to have because they weren't that great last season, aside from a few races. Noah and Carson back to their crashing ways in the Chili Bowl, says Mark Barnum. And Noah, he got into a wreck in the snowball too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't play or care about. Mark Barnum says bowl. Let's see. I didn't even read it the first one. I didn't even read it right the first time. I knew what you meant, and I just read it wrong to begin with. Say Kyle, I don't play or care about Minecraft, but as a travel agent, I was mesmerized by some group that built an Oasis class Royal Caribbean ship. Super cool. It's on YouTube, worth checking out if you like cruising. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. At the end of the day, Minecraft is all about the community. They take on these big projects, but it's more about the community where they're talking about stuff while they're building things and stuff like that. But I guess I'll say this: it's pretty amazing what they can build while they're just having basically a live chat while they're building stuff. So there are some really cool builds out there. I agree with you as far as that goes. It just wasn't for me. So let's see. Chili Bowl today, Mark says one wise guy was this weekend. I completely missed it. Yeah, I didn't even think about it myself. I forgot all about it. Are we really celebrating 75 years of Petty's in NASCAR? Richard is completely divested. Who is carrying the banner other than pretending LMC is still Petty? Thad Moffitt. Say Kyle, Thad Moffitt is about to announce, which I know everybody's like big eye roll, Thad Moffitt, but Thad Moffitt, he is fixing to announce his what he's going to do next season. So there is still a Petty bloodline driver out there, even though his last name is not Petty. But Richard Petty is a what do they call him? A consultant. He is a head consultant or something like that for Legacy Motor Club. So he is still attached to Legacy Motor Club, even though he doesn't have an ownership stake. And they are still using the 43 in his font, and it is Petty Blue with a gold trim this year. So, and I'm a homer. Like, I'm a Richard Petty fan. So it is what it is. I'm excited about it, but I can understand other people not being as excited about it as I am. I'm addicted to World of Tanks, going on 11 years now. Yeah. World of Tanks is a big one for sure. Like I said, a lot of my friends definitely got super into that one. On Earth 2, for the Daytona 700, they are debuting the diesel engine package. Yeah, and it's just like the tire wars back in the day. You can either pick a diesel package, or you can pick the gasoline package, or you can pick the hybrid package. You know, whatever package you want to package there. On Earth 2, let's see. OJ, I heard they're running it with bicycle tires too. So say Kyle, yeah, and any tire you can think of, you're allowed to run as long as it fits on the rim. There's actually a place in Hawaii that races cars. And I think the only rule, I read this in Speedway Illustrated, I want to say. I think the only rule they have over there is you can run whatever tire you want to as long as it fits on this stock wheel. And so you have to run the stock wheel that they bring. But if you can figure out how to put whatever size tire you want to on that stock wheel, you can run it. So that's the same Earth 2 rules. I like those rules. Absolutely 100%. And Hendrick switched from Chevy to Fiat, as they should. The number one stunner, Fiat, multiple championships for Fiat on Earth 2. OJ, whoa, buddy, let's not get too crazy here, says Say Kyle. BB, did the Colorado Buffs get too much hype this year, going 4-8 with Prime? I mean, that's what Deion Sanders does, man. He's sort of like Conor McGregor. He's like the ultimate hype man. But yeah, finishing out the season like what, 1-8? Not a good look, but they did start off 3-0. Let's see. Say Kyle, they're going to use Shelby tires on my bike. They have a Kevlar belt, so limited flat tires, says Mark Barnum. BB was a Molten Rage thing over Chastain versus Larson. Dude, it's been so long ago, I can't even remember what it was. I think he was like, whatever he was getting upset about, he was starting to use like cuss words towards people, and that was the only thing. Like, I don't want anybody on here getting cussed out. Like, that was like my only issue. So, and it was only supposed to be like I said, it was only like 1 week, which would have been one stream. And it ended up being like over a month because it took me forever to figure out how to get him back reinstated, which I've got a better idea of how to do it now, but it was the first time I've ever had to reinstate somebody. And it was on me because I couldn't figure out how to do it, but I finally figured out how to do it. Because and here's the problem. All the tutorials that showed you how to reinstate somebody, it was like from 2008 YouTube, and YouTube's back end stuff had changed so much since then that it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Escobar, no money for it for NASCAR to have their own stream. The sponsors would not pay as much, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, but I think you could figure out a way to do it like MLB does it. So figure out whatever MLB's doing. MLB has the best format for streaming. So they need to take a look at what MLB is doing and sort of take what's working for them and do that. Make it easy. Follow NASCAR, and the top 16 teams play for the national championship, and whoever wins the Cup Series title presents the national championship trophy. LOL, says Say Kyle. Yeah, so that would be something, and not for nothing. Let's make most popular driver. Whoever gets voted most popular driver automatically gets into the chase next year. Let's make the playoffs super interesting. Let's go all out for it. Not just the 16, makes the final four. So there's only going to be 3 drivers next year. Whoever wins most popular driver makes it into the final four, and then the 3 drivers that have the best round of 8. Who's in the 38? And you know what? 2 drivers, because we're going to put in the regular season title, the most popular driver, and then the other 2 drivers that have had a good season. That's who makes the final four on Earth 2, even though Earth 2 doesn't have a playoff. Who's in the 38 next year in the Truck Series? Says that's a good question. Maybe it's Kaz Grala. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to find out who's going where. Maybe it's Matt DiBenedetto. I know a lot of people are wondering where Matt DiBenedetto is going to go. Every time I make a video, there's at least 1 or 2 people asking, "Have you heard anything about Matt DiBenedetto?" So far, I haven't heard anything. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Who's driving the 10 car this year? It's going to be Noah Gragson, in my opinion. Pacific Atlantic Conference, the PAC, says Delmar Kaufman. They just need to eliminate conferences and do everything off of location-based divisions. That would probably make the most sense, say Kyle. But the NCAA, if it makes sense, they're not going to do it. Sounds like another organization I know. Southeast, Northeast, Midwest, West, top 4, clinch remaining 12 cards. 12 wild cards are based off of best record. That does make sense, but like I said, the NCAA, if they can't ring every single dime they can ring out of it, they're not going to do it. BB, will Ty Dillon ever win a championship in the Cup Series if he goes to the 16 car? On Earth 2, he's got a solid chance on Earth 2. On Earth 1, he's got to rebuild. Like all seriousness, he's got to rebuild his confidence. Like, you can tell his confidence isn't there anymore. So if he can rebuild his confidence, I think he could get close to being able to win a race maybe one day. But it just seems like his confidence is shot because he was so much. He showed so much more potential in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series back in the day. I don't know if that will work, Kyle. NASCAR doesn't like to promote their champions, says Brian W. Hey, that's a good point too. They're just, I think, has Ryan Blaney's been on like one late night talk show, and that's pretty much all I've seen about it as far as mainstream. Where did Matty D drive next? And most people don't even watch late night shows anymore, so take that for what it's worth. So like NASCAR needs to get with the times. So like if you got a champion, you need to go spend some money with Mr. Beast. You need to put like Ryan Blaney on Mr. Beast's channel. If you've got a champion, you need to have like Ryan Blaney on the Joe Rogan podcast or something like that. You got to look at what's trending the most. Where are the most eyeballs, and how can I get my Cup Series champion on one of those shows? That's basically what NASCAR needs to be looking at right now. Instead of, hey, we're going to put him on like Jimmy Kimmel or whatever. We're gonna put him on one of those one of those shows. Those shows were awesome back in the day when Johnny Carson was doing them. They don't have the same pull that they had back then. So you need to look at where the eyeballs and stuff are at now, and that's where you need to put your Cup Series champion. And that's one thing that NASCAR is falling behind the times on. Todd, Maddie will be driving the Ronald McDonald clown car. Mark, are you crazy? Mark, you are crazy, says Todd. Kyle Petty has 3 young sons, so maybe Petty will be back behind the wheel one day, says Delmar Kaufman. That's what I'm thinking too, Delmar. So we'll have to see. Moulton always threw me off with the random fan fiction. Yeah, he was. I think he was a big part of what inspired Earth 2. Wait, what happened on a couple of occasions? Yeah, I remember the first time he did it. I was like, what? I was like, I don't remember that happening. And I'm like sitting here trying to think, did that actually happen? And then he basically let us know it was fan fiction at the end of it. But yeah, he had some good times and some bad times. He's still active. He just doesn't, I guess, want to join in the live chats anymore. I've been on the old IROC races. I forgot how good it was and the big names that participated. Says like this, like, yeah, IROC was one of my favorite series when it first started, and obviously the later years were not great. BB is the Coca-Cola 600 race on Earth 2, the Coca-Cola at least Coca-Cola 12,000, or since it's Earth 2, is it a sprint race? Is it the Coca-Cola 60? So we could go either way with it. I'll have to think about that one. Sounding like Stewart, because both would technically be the opposite. Sounding like Stewart for a second there, says, oh man, sounded like Tony Stewart. Yeah, that's probably a fair take on that one. I'm not a big fan of the playoffs, man. Like I feel like F1 has a really good point structure. So I mean, I hate to say it, but their point structure would make NASCAR Cup Series racing, in my opinion, more entertaining to watch. Let's see. BB, please call Moody and tell him most popular driver should automatically make the Final Four, please. I want to die laughing on the way home tomorrow, says Kyle. You know what? We might call in and troll Moody one day. We might do it. And I might live stream while I'm doing it just so we can hear the meltdown on my side. Great Chase Elliott. Great Chase Elliott's in the Final Four every year for the rest of his life now. Says like this, like just like Alabama will be. And if you're an Alabama fan, that's a joke. Don't at me. I'm just joking. Let's see. HMS sucks. Says like this, like, but for sure every SEC champion for the rest of time until eternity under this current format. HMS sucks. Says like this, like, what is the hold up with SHR? You think they're announced? They'd be ready to announce their driver already. Wow. Couldn't talk there. Sorry about that one, wise guy. Yeah, I don't know. It might be some contractual things that they're just like crossing their T's and dotting their I's. I don't know. But it seems all but a foregone conclusion that it's going to be Noah Gragson. All names go in a bag, and then they draw the 16 names for the playoffs. Hey, that produces excitement. BB, do you miss the Burger King Have It Your Way commercials watching the NASCAR races? Burger King has got some great commercials. YouTube is unsubscribing people. Make sure you check, says Barbara Smith. Yeah, so that happens from time to time. We'll have to. I'll have to make. I didn't know it was going on this time, so yeah. I will. I guess I'll make an announcement on the next show. So it does happen from time to time. YouTube does some update stuff, and people get kicked off that have been watching channels for long periods of time. Dogfish says the OF. So Daytona 500 winner, media tour, all network shows, Cup champion. Hey, here's a gold diecast and award show. Nobody could watch. Hey, that's another good point. We got an award show that unless you've got Peacock, you can't see it. BB, does NASCAR do a horrible job promoting their champions right now? It's pretty bad. They just don't realize where people are watching stuff now, and they continue to make the sport more niche than it already is. It's hard to monetize anything that makes sense. Money wins every time, says Brickyard. That's true. It's like a train wreck. If you could pay to watch a train wreck, that's kind of the model right now for advertisement money. So they will knock out the 5 GR, says John Lewis. BB on Earth 2. Do they race the next gen car or the car of tomorrow? The answer is yes. You can pick whatever car you want to race. You can put whatever spoiler on it you want to. You can race with no spoiler. It's very laissez-faire rules on Earth 2, the Earth 2 Cup Series. Let me know down below if you want the Earth 2 Cup Series shirt. Should we work on that? Brickyard, you have 1,000 whoops. Let's see here. Rickard, you have to have 1,000 subs to get monetized and 50 to do a live stream, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. That's I know about the 1,000. I didn't know about the live stream stuff because obviously I started doing the live stream stuff way after. They knock out the fifth gear on short tracks. They're working on it right now. Yeah, so there you go. There's the Discord link if you want to join. If you want to check out our Discord, it's right there. One Wise Guy just dropped it. Let's see. What's up, Kyle? BB Snowball Derby wasn't good this year, says David McSwain. It had a really good finish, but I feel like they rode around. I didn't watch it because it was, I think it was like $75 to watch it. And normally we have a group of people if we're going to watch that one, but we couldn't get a group up this year. But I did see the finish, but it sounded like, or I was just looking at Twitter. It sounded like they rode around for a long time and then they went for it at the very end. And then a lot of people hating, but I don't know. I would have gone for it too. If I'm Stephen Nasty is who I'm talking about. Sorry. Stephen Nasty chopped off Bubba Pollard, but he was going for the win. So I'm not going to sit there and hate on it. Like there's a few laps left. He was going for the win. And he basically went into records or checkers mode. So I'm not going to hate on Stephen Nasty. He was trying to win the biggest race for the super late models there. Wise Guy, we need more Discord people, says Mark Barnum. On Earth 2, 600 is a 24-hour race at Daytona. Road course, all three series on track at the same time. It says like dislike. Yeah, for sure. We like to put everything on the track at once. That way you get your money's worth for the ticket you pay for, even though everything's free on TV. BD only misses. I got a heart like a truck commercial. Says say Kyle. Yeah, I think the main thing that people missed about her is gone now. Let's see. One Wise Guy, because it definitely is not her voice. Let's see. Agreed, says One Wise Guy. Oh yes, there's the merch link too. One Wise Guy, you're on it, my friend. BB, were you mad that they didn't have Peacock to watch the NASCAR awards? That I didn't have Peacock to watch the NASCAR awards? No, I'm not really, because I'll have it next season, but I just didn't have it this year. So I'm just not a big awards ceremony type guy. I talked about it earlier in the stream. Just not my cup of tea. Never has been. Possibly the only good thing I've ever seen come from the awards ceremony are two moments: Dick Trickle's Rookie of the Year speech, and Dale Earnhardt Sr. And Jeff Gordon the milk toast. So those are the only two things good that I've ever seen. And this year I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's going to be an all-timer. Kurt Busch giving his speech at this year's award. Those are the only three moments I can say from an award ceremony that I'll ever even remember. So it's just not my cup of tea. And guess what? I can watch the clips and replays of that. I don't have to watch the full award show to see it. Let's see. Possibly I need to try it first one too. What, BB? I missed all the commercials where they yell at you. Says Seiko knock out for sure. You got to try it first. I like that you got to try it first so much that I no longer drink Coke. That's we're gonna leave it at that. Blaney is not the number one guy at Penske. He's got number one stuff late in the playoffs and did good, says Dude Chronic. He's got to be like 1B right now though. Like he's got good sponsor money coming in. He's just won a championship, so they've got to be 1A and 1B. They've got to sort of be, as far as the equipment they're getting. I'm not comparing how good each driver is to the other driver. I'll let fans of each driver make those comparisons. But they got to be like Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, and now add William Byron to the mix over there at Hendrick, where throw a blanket over them. I feel like they're all really good right now. And Alex Bowman, once he gets over his back injury, he's no slouch either. So, but yeah, there are certain teams where you don't have a clear number one anymore. BB, yes, Earth 2 shirts, please, says OJ and Toothpaste. I'll have to think about it. I got to clear out the ones. We got a few I got to clear out so I can make some room for the sweatshirts. So we've got the buy one, get one on the T-shirts right now. And they do stack. So if you buy two, you get one of them free. If you buy four, you get two of them free. So they do stack like that. So if you're interested, go check out the merch store. If there is a if there is a 3 toaster Earth 2 shirt, I will buy it since I threw out the toaster part, says say Kyle. So yeah, we'll work on Earth 2. We'll work on something. Tom Majeski won it, says Mark Barnum. Ty Dillon, BJ McLeod, JJ Gailey, and Harrison Burton. Final Four shirt, Pikes Peak finale. Says OJ and Toothpaste. So there you go. There you go. Join Discord and look for Bologna Burger Stand server, says Mark Barnum. BB, do you like the new TV package, Amazon and TNT? I think it'll be pretty solid. To me, the new streaming deal reminds me of the old satellite and cable days. Back in the day, you used to just like listen to it on MRN if you didn't have cable or satellite, and that's just sort of what it's reminding me of. It's funny that it all came full circle. I feel like it's way too much, but Amazon is a good thing for joining. Yeah, I feel like if you're going to join a streaming platform, Amazon is the only one. There's only two that I would even look at: Amazon and Netflix. So those are the only two that I would even, if I was running an organization, those are the only two I would even look at. Hit the like button. It's free, and it supports the channel, says One Wise Guy. It does, for sure, but don't feel pressured into it. But it would be much appreciated if you want to hit that thumbs up button. SVG to win on street, road, and oval next year. Finish 7th in the championship, says Dogfish. There you go. Bold prediction for SVG. I don't know if he's going to finish 7th in the championship because he's going to be jumping around series quite a bit, but we'll have to see how he does. I watched a few award ceremonies in 35 years. Says Dude Chronic. BD, will Austin Cindric win the championship next year? 3 in a row for Penske. He's going to have a heck of a season because he had a sophomore slump for sure. I think he's a super talented driver, but he definitely had a sophomore slump. Started on the Fiat yet? And what about the other project? The Nissan is basically stripped. We're waiting on the guy to come over there and put the roll cage in. But yeah, they're not close to being finished though. No, but I have started on them. Yes. Let's see. New Zealand champion in NASCAR and IndyCar 2026. So for 2026, I got you, Dogfish. The Snowball, he's certainly talented. So I'm not going to put it past him for sure. The Snowball Derby, I put him sort of in the same boat as like Tony Stewart, Scott McLaughlin, where Robbie Gordon, guys that can just jump into any type of car and be pretty good off jump. The Snowball Derby, like 30 laps from the end, had like a 20-minute red flag. There was like a 10-car pileup and several drove off. Yeah, and the 10-car pileup collected most of the good cars, or most of the drivers of the good cars. All the cars there were good. Anyone know if there's a way to watch the V8 Supercars? They have a YouTube channel, say Kyle. I would absolutely love to watch a race of KFB was in a car. So they do have a YouTube channel. You can watch the replays and stuff like that over there. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. I have watched it in the past, but I don't know if anybody in the States carries the coverage right now. I have to check it out. BB, what car brand would you recommend us not buy, says OJ and Toothpaste? Oh, that's a good question. Even though I bought one, I was just looking, and part of it is the reason I bought it. Fiat with an automatic. A Fiat with an automatic is pretty much, I would stay away from it. That's all I'll throw out there for right now. Cindric is going with the starring role. A Fiat with a manual transmission, though, they seem to go forever. Cindric is going to start win. Cindric is going win the starting role in the next year's NASCAR busts video. LOL. Says say Kyle. So there you go. That's gonna be Darian's next bust candidate. What's your expectations for Kyle in the Indy 500 next year? I think he can run top 10. I think top 10 is reasonable. So I look for a top 10 finish as long as he doesn't have mechanical failure. I think that's probably a fair prediction of where he'll run. Did you make it to the Winston Museum? I'm going up there Thursday, One Wise Guy. So yeah, I will be heading up. I was going to go up there last week, but some stuff popped up and I couldn't get there. So I'm going up there Thursday, and I get the footage that then. Hopefully, if they'll let me get the footage. I'm thinking they will because they let Stapleton do it. I think Cadillac will replace the Camaro in the GM camp, says John Lewis. I don't think it'll be Cadillac. And a lot of people are speculating Corvette. I think it's just going to continue to be Chevrolet, and I'm pretty sure they're going to continue to call it the Camaro because they've already said they're making an electric Camaro. Mustang has more or less said they're going to make an electric Mustang based on the Mustang Mach-E. That news came out this week, actually. And Dodge has already announced that the next Charger is going to be an electric Charger. So, or Dodge isn't even in the series, but and Toyota has announced that their next Camry will be hybrid. So that's what I'm saying. the next cars, they're just going to be bodies. The next version of these cars, they're just going to be bodies, and the engine is going to have nothing. Just like the engine right now has nothing to do with the engine in the cars. So that's what I'm saying. It's not going to matter if Chevrolet comes with a fully electric car and uses that body for the Cup Series, and I think the fully electric Camaro is going to be the car they use in the Cup Series. BBR. Oh, BBR Range Rovers reliable, and can you get 1 million miles without changing the engine or transmission? I'm sure it's possible, but are they reliable? No, not at all. Let's see. Cindric is suffering from Trevor Bain syndrome, says Say Kyle. I have that same hat you're wearing. Yeah, it's a good hat. I've got a Dale Earnhardt senior one too. There's a Darrell Waltrip one I got my eye on right now too. Let's see. BB will David Reagan win the 500 in the 60 car? He's got as good a chance as anybody else. He is a really good super speedway racer, so I would not vote against him. Let's see. That Winston Museum guy is really cool. He made the Dale cars, Silver Wheaties, and Atlanta 96, says Duke Chronic. That's pretty cool. Typo, LOL, Range Rovers. I got you, OJ, and Toothpaste. Let's see. Currently watching a compilation of Sheldon Creed second place finishes. It's incredible how he lost that many times with such bad luck, says Alexander P. He has that's for daggone sure. Even in all my finished being renovated. What's up, RJ? Glad you got the renovated. That is definitely an undertaking. Going forward, Toyota said Tacoma will be a gas option. Says one wise guy. So there you go. That's what I'm saying. The times they are changing. Let's see. Next car will be generic, just General Motors, no model. That's the future, says Dogfish Head. True. Dude, I have Dale Senior one with the Wrangler car. Yeah, I don't have that one. I've got the black car, but I do want the Wrangler one too. So yeah, that and the Darrell Waltrip one. Definitely. If I'd known the Wrangler one was out, I probably would have got that one instead of the. I don't even have it with me. Yeah, dude. Instead of this one right here. So that's the one I got. But they've got like a Wrangler version, which is actually better. I didn't know they had it at the time I bought this one. Because if I'd seen it, I would have got that one. Let's see. BB, what's the best and worst McDonald's, Arby's, Wendy's, BK, In-N-Out, or Zaxby's? Zaxby's to me is the worst of those picks. Arby's is second worst. McDonald's is third. Burger King, and then Wendy's. So Wendy's at the top, Burger King second, McDonald's third, then Arby's, then Zaxby's. That is my final decision on those ones. But I'm sure there are some people out there that love Zaxby's. So feel free to flame me in the comments. Let's see, for my Zaxby's heresy. My mom loves Zaxby's. I must have been living under a rock. Why is the museum closing? Because the company that owns the Winston name now doesn't want them to use Winston, and it would cost them so much money to rebrand it that they're calling it a day. Ryan, what's up, my man? Merry Christmas from Arizona. What's the chances we see Carl Edwards in a Trackhouse car at some point? I think you've got the right team. I think it's just what Carl Edwards wants to do. I know he's interested in coming back, but does he want to come back to the Cup Series? Does he want to race Xfinity? That's probably. I think it rests on Carl Edwards, but I think you've got the right team. I think it would be Trackhouse if he came back. Let's see. And the super chat. Appreciate you, my man. Merry Christmas. Thanks for the great content. I appreciate you watching me, man, and thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well. Darrell Waltrip at Bathurst says Dogfish. Darrell Waltrip, he looked like he was stomping out a fire whenever he was running a road course. So if he could, to see him try to keep up stomping out a fire for like for what is it, 1,000? Is it 1,000 laps at Bathurst? That would be something else. What's the female version of one wise guy? That'd be one wise girl or one wise lady. Let's see. I wouldn't feed Zaxby's to my dog. So say, yeah, it's not my favorite either. $3 Frosty keychains are back at Wendy's. Says one wise guy. Hey, there you go. The old Frosty at Wendy's. That's an all timer. By the way, my bathroom renovation has taken almost a month. Yeah. I mean that's pretty much how long they take. It's a lot of intricate stuff you got to do in there, especially if you're laying tile. Like the laying tile part can take. I don't know if you're laying tile, I've had to help. I didn't lay the tile myself, but I had to help the guy lay in the tile in one or two of them, and that is that is a tedious process. Let's see. Will Noah Gregson still have Wendy's sponsorship? That remains to be seen. I know Bass Pro Shop will be back on the car, which means probably Black Rifle Coffee will also be back on the car. It blows my mind how many NASCAR fans have never seen the ocean, says Dogfish. Or seen racing across either ocean. It is interesting because I do think if most NASCAR fans saw Australian V8 supercar racing, they would be like, daggum, that's some good stuff. Because I mean, it is as close, it is as door to door as it gets, and it is fun to watch for sure. The show Cops says OJ and Toothpaste. I never got into the live PD thing, but back in the day, back in the college days when you were around and be a piece of junk, yeah, you could catch stuff like that. So I've watched it before. I never got into it like some people. I pretty much just watched Cops to hear the Bad Boy song, and then I was kind of done with it. I did like that song. I feel like that song was half the reason that it was popular. Brickyard Brickhead, but to me, it just took too long. Like, they could have made a much better version of Cops if they just cut out all of the why the cops are going there. I don't care about any of that. I just want to see the guys acting stupid. So if you just cut to the part where the guy's acting stupid, I think it would have been a much better show. Especially for right now, because even back then I was just like, boring. Just get to the part where the guy in the wife beater steps out of the house and acts like a dum dum. So that was always the problem for me. It wasn't fast paced enough. Is there any common body parts that are the same for all car makes? I believe in the past they all used Ford Taurus trunk deck lids. Says Brickyard Brickhead. I don't know. I think the greenhouse on all these cars are the same, but I think the nose and obviously the fenders on the Ford are different. So, but I think the rest of the car is pretty much the same. I think just the nose and the fenders and the hood. I think those are the only things that are manufacturer specific. Got me talking about oceans. I'm thinking about Pacific, the Pacific Northwest. Good old Johnny Morris says, one wise guy. Not seeing the ocean blows my mind too, and I remember. That I'm a weirdo because I didn't see snow until I was 16 years old, says Say Kyle. Speaking of when do we get a Gregson announcement, says Ryan. That's a good question. Like, at any point, they have got to announce it because it is all but done. Like, if you missed the earlier part, they've already showed the picture of Noah Gregson standing in the SHR, basically doing a seat fitting or doing some promo stuff for SHR. But they haven't announced him in the 10 car yet, but it's got to come eventually. Mr. Pearson, cheers to you too, my friend. BB, what's the dumbest car mod? Neon lights, exhaust, cold air intake, nitrous, lift, or slamming your car? So if it's a daily driver, I would say the nitrous would be the dumbest thing you could do because that's gonna wear out your engine. Slamming your car is going to cause frame damage, so that would be second. Lifting it's gonna make it harder to get in and out of. I'm gonna hold off on that one. Cold air intake. So I'll go lifting it is the next one. Then I'll go exhaust because if you ever take like a really long road trip, that exhaust is really going to get on your nerves after a long period of time. Says the man that had a MagnaFlow on a Z28 Camaro. I took a long trip in that, and I didn't. And the radio was broken also because why wouldn't it be? That was the end of loud exhausts for me. Neon lights would be the next stupid one, and then cold air intake. Cold air intake is actually going to help you with gas mileage. Technically, so will the exhaust, but it will also be really annoying on long trips. So cold air intake is the best one. Neon lights are the second best one because it's to your taste. It makes you more visible on the road, which actually might be a good thing with everybody staring at their phone while they drive now. Then exhaust will be the next one. Then a lift. Then slamming your car. Then nitrous. In that order. Those are best to worst and worst to best. Let's see. OJ, I have to go with standing. No mechanical upside and tons of downside. Oh, doing the stance stuff. Yeah, slamming your car. Doing the stance stuff is second worst. But on a daily driver, nitrous would be worse because you're just going to wear out the motor. Let's see. Jason Bright took a wall trip for a lap, and it's a great video on you. Oh, I have to look at that one. I didn't know that, Dogfish. I hadn't seen that one. I'm gonna check it out. Say Kyle says Stancy. Yeah, I know what you meant, my friend. They use they all used to use a 9-inch Ford rear end, says Duke Chronic. That is a fact. That is a fact. 4x4 with they call it the Carolina squat around here, but I guess it's the SoCal squat or wherever you're from. Talking about the squatted cars, I say Shy. Yeah, that's a bad one too. BB, would you have made an appearance on Cops when you were younger? When that guy woke you up sleeping in Daytona last year? When I was younger, oh yeah, I definitely would have got out and had something to say, because it was just so on purpose. Like, I don't know what I did. I gave him plenty of room where I parked, so I don't know why he slammed the door and woke me up on purpose. I don't know. I don't know if he thought I would get up and be like, oh, gee, that's a funny joke, guy. But I was not. That's a funny joke, guy, because that was the first sleep I'd gotten all week. And it's so hard to sleep in a car that he woke me up. And I never did ever get back to sleep fully. So, yeah, I definitely, younger me would have had something to say to him for sure. Older me is probably going to go down there with my valve core stem tool next year, just in case. Let's see. Wise Gal, RJ says one wise guy. So there you go. Wise Gal is the inverse. BB, did you see my comment about bathroom tile? If I did, I missed it. But yeah, the bathroom tile takes forever. Wise guy, you're snarky like me, says RJ. Let's see. I have MagnaFlow on the 4Runner with a broken radio myself, says one wise guy. Yeah. So now imagine driving from Delaware to North Carolina with that particular exhaust and no radio. I was over it. I was over it. I was so over it. Let's see. Don't bring a Carolina squat to Daytona. Volusia outlawed it this year. It's actually outlawed in Carolina now too. That's how you can be on Cops in Volusia County. LOL. Says Say Kyle. BB, what's the best and worst soda? It's regional, but the best soda to me is Sundrop Cherry, which is just red Sundrop. So that, to me, that's the best one. Hard to find, but you can still get it on Amazon, I think. Surge has got to be in that mix. Cheerwine also in that mix. So those will be the regional ones. I say Surge is regional because it's only in certain regions where you can actually still get it in the stores. But you can get all these on Amazon or on eBay. As far as one you can pretty much get anywhere, I'm a Code Red Mountain Dew guy. So as far as that's a pretty easy one to find everywhere. Worst soda would have to be like Tab, even though they don't make it anymore. That's probably one of the worst ones I've ever had. Diet Mountain Dew has to be up there for worst soda. So I'd say, even though I've got Mountain Dew Code Red as my most, like, the basic one you can find everywhere as my favorite, I would put Diet Mountain Dew as my least favorite. No, I take it back. It was a seasonal flavor or whatever, but the Mountain Dew Fire or whatever it was called, the hot flaming hot Mountain Dew, that tasted like jalapeno juice, but worse somehow. You could literally taste the cancer in that particular soda, and you knew if you drank enough of it, you wouldn't live a long life. So I would have to say that's probably the worst one. Mountain Dew, holler at me if you want to get up with some sponsorship stuff now that I've spoken well of you. Let's see. The old school squat when your airbags blow out, says like dislike. For sure. Squatted trucks make 0 sense. They should be illegal. What's the point of having a box when everything else would just fall out of it? For sure. And also, not for nothing, but everybody that's got a squatted truck has the equivalent of the lights that would be on an alien spaceship on the front of it too. So not only do you know a squatted truck when you see it from the side, but when you get behind one, or when you get in front of one on the roadways, you know it's behind you because it looks like the sun is chasing you down the road. So they like the massive what are they, LED light bars? They like the massive LED light bars to go with their Carolina squat as well. They did include bathroom tile in my renovation, but I can only include major details privately. I got you, RJ. I got you. Yeah, tile to me takes the longest part. My wife turned me on to Cheerwine when we started dating. It is so good, says Say Kyle. Oh, I'll tell you what. There's one on the West Coast. Cactus Coolers. Is it Cactus Coolers? Cactus Coolers is really good. That's a really good one. Let's see. Dumbest thing I've ever seen, says Sha, talking about the squat. I cheer on wine, says RJ. Yeah, cheer wine's a good one for sure. I can't find Sundrop in California. I wanted to make that Dale Jr. Sundrop cake. Yeah, Sundrop's pretty good. So you can, I tell you what, if you want it, One Wise Guy, they do have it on Amazon or eBay. So you can find it on there from time to time. If you really want some, you know how to get up with me. Holla at your boy. I'll send you a case if you want a case. No worries. They make Tab in Europe. Oh, they make Tab, but it's in Europe still. So PC on road. So they still got Tab. Tab to me, that was a rough one. We need a poll tournament in one of the off-season live streams. Well, we've done poll tournaments before, so I'll tell you what. Next live stream, we'll figure out something. We'll figure out something to do a tournament on. Flaming Hot Mountain Dew is nasty, says RJ Bansma. It is pretty bad. Some people like it though. Pepsi rocks. Fresca sucks. Says Shaw. I don't know. I like Fresca. I know people are like, you got zero taste buds if you like Fresca. I like Fresca. So it was. If you ever watched the TV show on Amazon Prime called The Boys, they're always cracking a cold Fresca, and to me it's hilarious because I'm like, who even knew about Fresca? I was like, because it's such a niche thing. But it's funny that Fresca got its moment in the sun. Squat like a dog with worms, says Dogfish. Laughing my butt off, Dogfish, says Shaw. What's worse, the Carolina squat ticket or the repair to fix it back to stock? I don't know. The money to fix it back to stock is money well spent because you're not going to ruin that part of the chassis where you're basically putting all of the impact on the one part of the chassis. So fixing it back to normal is actually money well spent. So I'd say probably the repair ticket, or I'm sorry, the ticket from the officer is probably the worst there. Cherry Sundrop is the ticket, says Dirty Def. Yeah, it's some of the best stuff you'll ever have. And even in North Carolina, it's hard to find. Hey, BB, catching the tail end of the stream. I'm excited to see the Cars Tour heading to Orange County next season. Yeah, a lot of people are super stoked about that. Cars Tour is returning to Orange County, the original home of the old North State Nationals or whatever it's called. I'm not sure if they'll get that race next year or not. I'm pretty sure they'll still continue to hold it at Tri-County. But we'll have to see what happens there. It'd be cool if NASCAR used the digital numbers that show the position the driver is in, says Duke Chronic. Yep, for sure. One Wise Guy says, all right, I got you, my friend. One Wise Guy just dynamite all the squats. New poll, please, says PC on road. I'm gonna leave this one up here because I'm fixing to peel off, but we'll have plenty of polls on the next one. I promise you that. BB, was it hard to learn manual drive transmission when you were a young buck? Not for me, because I pretty much knew what you had to do, and so I picked it up within 8 hours. I was driving pretty smooth with one. LOL RJ, even taking off from a hill back then, I'm probably worse driving it now than I was back then. But taking off on a hill, at least with the Fiat, because I'm not used to something having that little horsepower, and you gotta tack it all the way. It sounds so terrible. You feel like you got to just floor it to take off on a incline. It's like, I think the car overall has 100 horsepower, but I think it's only making at most 90 to the wheels. That's being generous. LOL RJ, that's right. You missed soda in the We Need a Soda Poll tournament. LOL says Kyle. Yeah, for sure. We'll have a soda poll. That's exactly what I was going to do. But next stream we will have a soda. We'll get it going. One Wise Guy. I tell you what, go to the Discord and tell me what sodas I need to put into the soda poll tournaments. That way I don't miss any of them. One Wise Guy, both Carolina's Bandit. LOL says RJ. Imagine if Oganichi had stayed open. It would be one of the biggest tracks in the world, I think. It's such a perfect location. It would literally be like right off 85. Oh, man. The Orange County just doesn't, or Hillsborough just doesn't want racetracks. Didn't Happy just buy a short track after his mansion? I don't know if he bought the track or not. But he's definitely the general manager, so I'm pretty sure he bought it. But yeah, I did see that story, and I need to include it on a stream. What? It's not Mesa Marin because they tore that one down. Is it Kern County? Didn't he buy Kern County? I think Kern County is the one he bought. So yeah, Kevin Harvick bought Kern County. I left that out of all my episodes, and I meant to include it in one. So I'm glad you said something there. So yeah, that'll be. I'll include that one on the next episode. for sure. But yep, looks like we've reached the end of the chat here. So I'm going to hop off. I appreciate you guys. It's always fun. And we'll do it again next Tuesday. Y'all take them easy. Peace.